The Australasian Gastrointestinal Trials Group, which is quite a long name, is a group of physicians, medical oncologists, radiation oncologists, gastroenterologists and surgeons who have a keen interest in trials in gastrointestinal cancer. The group has been running now for 25 years and has been very successful in achieving significant outcomes for improving patient care. The Australian group in particular has led international changes in the molecular profiling of colorectal cancer in particular, which has led to more personalised patient care. So that's been one of our crucial outcomes over many years. The gastrointestinal cancer is not just colorectal, it includes esophageal cancer. It also includes some rare cancers, of which one is called a GIST. We have done quite breakthrough trials in the latter, GIST tumours, where we were able to show that a new, very targeted molecular drug dramatically improved outcomes for those patients. The reason why I went into research for GI cancer at the time was that this is around 15 or so years ago, when there was very little in the way of active treatments for patients with particularly colorectal cancer. These were patients who were seen, diagnosed, and then unfortunately there was not much care available. And one of my mentors pointed out to me that there is some very interesting research going on in the London Centre, and this researcher perhaps you could sort of reach out to at the time, and that was all by fax, so email was just coming into play. And by that discussion I became interested in the new drugs for colorectal cancer, because I was seeing patients where there were no options, and via that sort of experience I could see that we could enter clinical trials, access new drugs and improve patient outcome. And from that exposure, obviously I then came back to Australia, very interested in continuing those clinical trials, bringing some of those drugs back to Australia at the time, because it was still quite a different era. And then essentially I've continued on researching different drugs, different now molecular, targeting all the new gene understandings and so forth. When patients come to me and talk to me about their therapy, I will always also discuss clinical trials. The importance of clinical trials are on a number of different levels. So clinical trials may offer a patient a new therapy that they can no other means of obtaining. Clinical trials also look at patient selection, so some of the new molecular markers are included in clinical trials so that you can then better select a treatment for that individual patient. And there is also evidence that we have seen over years that being in a clinical trial actually improves a patient's outcome because of the close monitoring, in addition to the options for new therapies. So without the clinical research, the clinical trials that we've done in cancer, particularly gastrointestinal cancer, patient outcomes will not have improved over time. So we see improvements in survival, improvements in quality of life, reduced side effects of treatments via trialling new treatments, comparing them to older treatments. And really by proving that they are better, we're then able to bring them into standard practice, to educate other doctors about newer treatments, and then ultimately improve healthcare.